Hey guys, and welcome to the updated and final video for the Panasonic 5-lens kit now that I have all 5 lenses. Now the lenses in the kit are the Panasonic 7 to 14mm f4 ultra-wide zoom, the Panasonic 12 to 60mm, well, I guess you can't really remove a lens while you're using it, the Panasonic 12 to 60mm f3.5 to 5.6 kit zoom lens, the Mitakon 25mm f0.95 prime lens, manual focus, the Panasonic 42.5mm f1.7 prime lens, and rounding out the telephoto end, the Panasonic 100 to 300mm f4 to 5.6 version 2. Now of course you can get higher quality, more expensive lenses, but the focus of this kit was to keep it small, keep it light, and keep it inexpensive, but still get good optical quality. All the lenses in this kit represent a pretty good value in terms of quality for the money. Alright, now I'm just going to go through the lineup lens by lens and show you what I like about each one. Starting on the wide end is the Panasonic 7 to 14mm f4 ultra-wide zoom lens. Now what's so nice about having the zoom range is you can have that ultra-wide perspective when you want it at 7mm and zoom in towards 14 when you don't. You can kind of flatten out the scene, get more of a natural look. This lens was released way back in 2009, making it by far the oldest lens in my kit. But even then, the optical performance of this lens is probably the best of any of the 5 lenses I have. It's sharp all the way out to the corners, even at f4, throughout the whole focal length range. It works really nice in video with the Panasonic G85. The IBIS does a really good job stabilizing it. I've just been very impressed with this lens. It's a lot of fun to use. The only downsides are the fact that it's not weather sealed and it cannot take any screw-on filters. If you want those features, take a look at the new Panasonic Leica 8 to 18mm f2.8 to f4 lens. Comes in about $10.99. Next up is the Panasonic 12 to 60mm f3.5 to 5.6. This was the kit lens with my G85. Really fantastic kit lens. You're getting weather sealing, which is really unusual for a kit lens. You're getting dual IS2, which means this lens is optically stabilized, and it works with the sensor shift stabilization in the G85 to give you really smooth footage, especially when you're walking and filming. I noticed, and you can see in the full review of this lens, which I'll link at the end of this video, you get really smooth footage when you're walking around with this lens and recording video. You do get nice sharp corners at the wide end of this lens, and that makes it really strong for landscapes and for walking around with. It's definitely a staple of my kit for bad weather and for just walking around with because that focal length range is so handy. This is the Zhonghe Mitakon 25mm f0.95. This is a very fast and very fun lens to shoot with. You're going to get awesome narrow depth of field shots. If you want to take portraits, this is a very good option. Video, this is a good option for a couple of reasons. Number one, a lot of videographers like manual focus lenses, and this is the only lens in my lineup that gives you a mechanically coupled focus ring. So you're not getting focus by wire, getting direct, very intuitive, natural feel. And then also the aperture control is completely clickless. When you turn the aperture ring, there's no stops. It just is a continuous fluid motion. So you can vary your exposure very smoothly that way in video. Now this lens is a little bit slower to shoot with because you're not getting autofocus, you're not getting any electronic contact with the lens, but because of the G85's focus peaking and one-touch magnification, it's not too bad. You can do all that through the EVF. So this lens is an absolute hoot to shoot with, especially in low light when you're able to open it up to 0.95, really bring your ISOs down and get a clean image with a very dramatic film-like shallow depth of field effect. Very fun lens. If you can find one of these cheap, I found this for only $250 used on eBay. Great deal, a lot of fun. Next up is the Panasonic 42.5mm f1.7. This lens is probably the overachiever of my lineup because even though it's so small and so light, you do get image stabilization built into this lens that's compatible with dual IS on the G85. And you're also getting very sharp performance, wide open at 1.7 across the frame. Really good portrait lens, fast autofocus, and it's so small and so light that when you put it on your camera it just practically disappears. This is my go-to lens for any kind of low light action or sports. It's a good moderate focal length. It's not going to flatten out your subject too much. You're still going to get kind of a more intimate feel than you would with a legitimate telephoto lens. So this is a really nice small light portrait lens, a lot of fun to shoot with. Very easy to shoot with and highly recommended. Last but certainly not least is the Panasonic 100 to 300mm f4 to 5.6 version 2. And it is important you look for version 2 because this one adds dual IS2 capability, weather sealing, faster focusing, and in my opinion just a more pleasant experience and definitely worth the cost premium over the first version. Now what's nice about this lens is it harnesses one of the competitive advantages of the Micro Four Thirds system. You're getting fantastic stabilization, small, light, and because of the crop factor with Micro Four Thirds, you're getting just fantastic telephoto capability. In terms of full frame, you're getting 200 to 600 with this lens at a very workable aperture. You might think 4 to 5.6 is kind of slow, but because of the image stabilization of the G85 and newer Panasonic cameras with this lens, you can shoot down to 1/20th of a second, 1/10th of a second, and get just razor sharp images. So it really holds up well even when light levels are fading because of that stabilization. Now one of the biggest surprises of this lens is the amount of sharpness I was able to get wide open at 300 millimeters at f5.6. As these shots show, you're getting pretty crisp detail. Definitely more than I expected for a lens like this. Now this lens, like the 12 to 60, is also weather sealed, so if I'm out shooting in the rain, these are the two lenses I'd go for. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's pretty cool. You can get so much flexibility with this system and pack these 5 lenses into one backpack and have so much flexibility and control over your shooting. It's really one of the advantages of shooting a Micro Four Thirds camera. Now one of the best things about this system is the number of choices you have when it comes to lenses. These are just the 5 lenses that ticked all the boxes for me and the lenses that give me all the flexibility I need for my style of shooting. I'm going to link all the individual video reviews here for you to check out. Please do that. And as always, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.